Hi. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Hikikomori Cool Stream. I'm your host, Hikiko Miles, Hikikomori, that guy, Deadly Premonition guy. Hello, everyone. Comfy stream. Zap Brannigan in here. I'm updooting. I see we got 17 likes. We can updoot more. I know you guys. I know a lot of you are Redditors, and that's all you do is updoot, so you better updoot. I'm asking. I am channeling all the little, what do they call that little Reddit alien? Updooter. I'm channeling him for this stream.
I only want to feel good with virtual friends in a comfortable atmosphere.
Welcome everyone to the cool stream. It's been a minute, hot minute, since I've done a cool stream. Since I've been alive. No. Since I've been back on YouTube. Wow, what a retirement. What a hiatus. I don't even know how to address that. My intentions are never fully translated sometimes. I think it's because, you know, when people see a title, they're like, okay, it's all over. He's packing it in. I saw the title in my last video. They're like, he's gone. Sayonara, Hikiko. No. I felt it was more of a venting kind of video. We all have. I'm not the only one on this fucking platform that is frustrated with how things are going. Okay, there are much bigger dogs than me that have thrown in the towel. Okay, even you know, people like I don't know, Norm the gaming historian is just like, I'm going back to just hobby mode. I got other things. I got other priorities and stuff. I get it. It's tough out there. It's tough. Who do we got in here? Am I here? Are you hearing double here? Hold on a second. I'm going back to just hobby mode. You guys are hearing double. I don't know why that was. I just upgraded. I apologize. I just upgraded to Windows 11 on my primary editing PC, and it has been a nightmare because it's like, you know, this is what you got to do if you want to be secure. Yeah, my audio is no longer doubled. I fixed it. It is all fixed. Thank you, guys. It was my OBS settings from the upgrade from 10 to 11. If I could stay on 10 forever, I would stay on 10 forever. But eventually, some of my software is getting out of date. So we are now here all together on the cool stream. Operation Guns. We're going to get this kicked off, and I'm just going to go straight off the brain. I do like Vampire Survivors quite a bit. But when I heard Contra, a Konami property, was actually crossing over, and they weren't getting sued for being like, you know, somewhat of a Castlevania-inspired, they, you know, just teetering on the edge of copyright infringement. That's kind of cool to me. Gives me hope that maybe we will see some Castlevania content coming out. So, I love Contra. This is classic. We're going to start off as Bill. They got Bill and Lance. I even think there's Probotector for all you Euros who can't handle humans dying and you need the robots. They got the Probotector. It looks like they have some hardcore characters, and some bosses, I think. You know, you have your regular Vampire Survivors guys down there, but yeah, it looks like they have stuff all the way up to like Contra 4, which is insane. Okay. Mandatory F Microsoft. Oh yeah, Garden back. We are going to be discussing that whole thing. The audio was doubled and delayed. Oh, Windows 11 would explain. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. J-Spot, thank you so much for the super chat. We got, I'm updooting as hard as I can. Love you, man. Thanks, J-Spot. Let's give him a heart. That's something I can do. I hearted that, so you can see I acknowledged it. That's new. That's all new. Yeah, okay. Y'all ready? I'm gonna try and dual wield here. We're gonna stream some Vampire Survivors, and then I'm gonna tell my whole life story. How about that? Okay? As Bill. So Bill gets a bonus projectile, max 50 in might. Okay, yeah, I got it. FK in the coffee. We got it right there. All right, so to talk about, let's start with the channel, shall we? For everyone who, why would I start with Game Killer? Never with Game Killer. Let's just start with Twilight Requiem. That sounds good. The channel itself, it's hard for me to like express what I'm seeing on the data end. Okay, how's the audio levels, by the way? I just want the game to be, slightly audible, but the channel itself, it's hard to describe. But from my end, I've seen a kind of a stagnation and growth, and it happened in 2024. Like the end of last year going into this year. It's been about like 6 months of just total shellacking by YouTube. There's a lot of theories of what could be the problem. Like, it's not just happening to me. It's not an exclusive Hikikomori problem. It's just happening across the board. And I think a lot of it has to do with YouTube just constantly being flooded with AI shit. And I'm not just saying that like in terms of artwork. I'm talking about like where AI scrapes other popular videos from like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, and then just re-uploads it to YouTube and re-uploads it to Instagram and Facebook and everything. It's absolutely insane how quickly it feels like it's overtaken the internet. So like when there's so much stuff like hitting the feed, hitting the servers of YouTube, it's just like hard for it to suss out what's real and what people want to watch and this, that, and the other. So it's just like across the board, people are kind of hurting as content creators. So, I'm trying not to get all like schizo brain, paranoid conspiracy saying that, they're out to get my channel. The reality is it's happening to everyone all at once. And I don't know that there is a good solution for it, especially with a guy like me and my reach. I really don't know what it is that I could possibly do to fight that. Except I have had some discussions with some people in the know, as it were, and their solutions were hilarious and also kind of depressing. So, they want, how did all the Zoomers say it? They want spicy thumbnails, salacious, erotic thumbnails seems to be the consensus amongst creators. To like, and I should have known this. I should have known that the internet is run by the Coomers for the Coomers, especially after all the Stellar Blade stuff. I should have known better. But the thing is, like, a lot of my content isn't necessarily erotic, but I guess I could Photoshop some tits on an Xbox or something if I make a video about this whole Xbox fiasco. I don't know. I'm at quite the crossroads in my life, in my channel. So that's up for consideration. Making shorter videos is also something that I struggle with, believe it or not. When I set out to make a video, I just want to take as long as it needs, get all the good information out, and set my videos apart from others. And how I do that is through research and my perspective. So the funny thing about having a original perspective is that it doesn't remain original for long, which I kind of talked about in my little video I put out there. It's bad. It's not the first time it's happened. It's probably not going to be the last. But like dealing with, I don't know how to say it. Repackagers was the word that I use. Dealing with repackagers is really tough because, and somebody said, like, you should name names. You should start a beef. You should do all this. I have done that in the past. If you've been on Hikikomori Media for a while, you know I've gotten into some shit before with various million sub channels, okay? Some of which still have blacklisted me because I called them on using my stuff. I'll give you kind of an example. So when Hikiko here was like only 1,000 subs, we'll say 1,000 subs, a really big fact channel that likes to just tell factoids about games and get big celebrities, big celebrities to come on and say those same facts like they knew them before they read the script. I had made a really, really in-depth retrospective on one of my favorite games, and I included footage that I captured myself. Like, it required me to import a game from Japan, rip that game, capture it on my shitty capture card at the time, and play through the game using, like, Google Translate. I mean, it was more than just, like, oh, you know, they just... Basically, I had done all this research on this game that I loved, and I uncovered some things, and I made some connections that had just not been made ever. And I looked before I even started on this project. I looked, and nobody had a retrospective or a review or anything. There was like even barely any footage of this game on YouTube or other sources. Like, it was probably on Nico Nico. Like, you know, the Japanese were probably playing on Nico Nico, but there's usually a watermark on Nico Nico stuff anyway. So I put out this retrospective. I made all these connections and how this game influenced the design of another and so on and so forth. And literally 3 weeks later, one of the biggest gaming YouTube channels, not only do they take my footage, they didn't contact me at all. I just had to find out after it happened. They take my footage, and they take all these same points from my video that I was the only one who had done that, okay? And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's just objectively true. And I was not happy with that. I was not happy because nobody reached out to me. Literally no one at that, like, million sub. They didn't reach out to me. They didn't ask me to use any of my stuff. Their writers denied watching my video despite downloading 2 of my videos to include in their little video. And nobody just, you know, reached out to say, hey, do you want to narrate something maybe? How about that? How about just reaching out to Hikiko and saying, hey, you want to collab on this? I really liked your video. Your research helped me. Would you like to record a few lines? Hell yes, I would do that, and I would promote it, and there would be no problem. You know, I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for the credit. And it's very frustrating because at the time when I went against a big factoid channel and I called them out, they gaslit me, essentially. They were like, no. This is what they told me. They said, actually, one of our writers heard it from Suda51. One of our writers actually worked with Suda51 and heard it all from him. Okay. All right. Right, dude. Right. So that was the response I got. And then their entire subscriber base of children and Nintendo fans, one and the same, started dogpiling me. And at the time, as I said, I was only maybe 1,000, maybe less, okay? I had 0 connections. I had 0 people to turn to during this time. So they just got away with it. They just got away with it. And nobody gave a shit, and then that kind of jaded my perspective on things. And then, like, shortly after that, another time that happened. Like, it's happened at least once every year or once every other year. And it's always these big, big channels that are untouchable, okay? I've had all my, like, as I said, I don't have a problem with people watching my videos or live stream reacting. Like, if fucking, Asmon Gold decided to do a react video, I wouldn't care because there I am. There's the original source. I think it's grosser, okay? Grosser. It's more disgusting to hide it, to basically copy somebody's homework and then pretend like you didn't watch the video or download the video and use clips from it and then, not credit them. That is fucked up. Everyone wants to look like they're the authoritative source on something, like they are the premier expert on a topic. But, there's little channels like mine and like other people out there that have actually become authoritative sources on particular pieces of content or DRM discoveries or other things like that. There are authoritative people, but they're buried by the algorithm, and they have to pray for some bigger channel to brain deadly try and comprehend your video and break it up for their audience and so on. It's like I have to suck the cock of some guy, like, who just reacted to my video and be happy for it. That's what YouTube is. It's like you have to be humble. You have to be humble about it. But really, I'm not very humble about it. I just think it's fucked up, okay? It's rotten. It's rotten that you can't do the bare minimum of a shout out. That you can't link the video in which you're stealing shit from. Okay? Even up to the title on one of mine. More recently. They not only took my premise for a video, but the title itself, and reached out to me and told me, hey, I watched your video. Can I use this? And I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't really know you. And then they did it anyway. After we had like come to a mutual agreement, I was like, you know what? Go ahead. And then after we came to the mutual agreement, that's when they decided not to credit me. So, god damn, you can't win sometimes. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. So yeah, that takes the win from my sails, as it were. And it would do it to anyone, honestly. Anyone who cared about the stuff you're making. If I didn't care, if the channel was just a slop factory, just reading bylines and article headers and stuff like that and rage baiting all the time, then I wouldn't give a shit because I just took somebody else's article in research and journalism. I would just do that and I wouldn't feel anything. And that would be so much easier. But when you dedicate yourself to something that you're passionate about, and then somebody, like, I don't know, just uses it, right? Like, it's just nothing but a Kleenex to deposit their cum in. That's your content. And then they get paid for it afterwards. Not only do they get the O, but they get the money on top of it. So yeah, it's a tad frustrating. That's my real perspective. I try and keep it real here, but that's what the whole thesis of the last video was about. It's hard to articulate that without sounding like I'm whining. I am very appreciative of the people that are here on the stream and that watch the archives on the Cool Stream Playlist archive. Cool Stream Playlist if you want to watch the archive of today's video. And also that, left me words of encouragement because literally everyone on that video left words of encouragement and they were really nice, and that helps. It really does. Every once in a while, I just got to do what they call bloodletting, essentially, like letting the poison out, just letting everything that's on my mind out. And the cool streams are also a good place for that. But I got to keep it real with you. Like, I'm more incentivized to just start stealing content. It's a victimless crime. You just get away with it every time. There's literally no downsides to repackaging content, right? Time for a Rule of Rose retrospective. It's going to be 2 hours. I'm going to watch 3 videos and then just verbatim take 3 other smaller channels and combine it into a cornucopia of other people's information. That's how it's going to go down. That's not right. I can't say karma is going to come around to these people because they just don't care. Like, they literally don't care. I tried to, like, my problem is when I try and level with these people and just say, hey, man, hey, dude, hey, whatever, could you at the very least, link the fucking channel? Could you at least say hello before you fuck me in the ass? Just a little, just a little common courtesy would be prudent, I feel. And I can't help but laugh at it. Like, I get mad for a little bit. I really do. I think it's okay. I think it's natural to get mad when these things go down. And really, as I said, I don't have any recourse at all. Literally nothing. Because it's my word against theirs. And I look like the asshole. Like, that's the thing about, like, when somebody takes your video or somebody, like, repackages your shit. You look like the asshole if you say anything. Like, you should be like, humble. You should be proud that your work was good enough to copy. Well, I'd like to be proud and be able to help pay for the channel and the time that went into it. Okay? How about that? I'd be a lot more proud if somebody threw me at least, I don't even know what the price would be, but at least okay, this is what I wanted out of the whole thing. Just let me collaborate with you, okay? If you like my stuff so much, if it's helped you out, throw me on there, okay? Put me in. Allow me to say my own words. How about? And so that's that. Everyone has a different read of the situation. Some think it's petty of me to feel a certain way, but as I said, those who've been with the channel for so long, they know. They get it. They understand where I'm coming from. I'm not just pulling things out of my ass. It's literally blood, sweat, and tears. And I want it to continue to be, a genuine and honest relationship between me and my subscribers. Like, I want them to be able to count on me to provide accurate information, good research, that I play my own games, that I'm not stealing other people's shit, that I'm not getting stomped out by a mecha walker over there. That's okay. It's all part of the Vampire Survivors process here. But I want to continue, being that way and not have to do stuff like resort to fact bombing. You guys know what fact bombing is? Fact bombing is when places like Watch Mojo steal other people's videos. Basically, this happened to a guy named Guru Larry, Larry Bundy. I remember he was getting his stuff stolen by Watch Mojo, which is also one of those aggregators. Like, the internet's kind of just become an aggregation machine. Like, wherever Reddit and Facebook and Instagram is just aggregating just the distilled hit, only success, right? And so that was happening to Guru Larry. So in order to catch them in a lie, because Watch Mojo, I guess, was denying they were stealing his content, he would leave what they call fact bombs, where essentially he would come up with some line of bullshit, and then he would like sit and wait for Watch Mojo or somebody else to take it, and that was his trap. He laid out a trap for the thieves. And it's admirable, yes, I get to catch them. But here's the thing: I already know who my thieves are. They've already confirmed it, right? They've already let me know. I'll be taking that. Yes. Can I have this? Yes, I'm going to. While yes, I'll have more. So I already know. There's no point. I get it. So I think that's also dishonest. Like if I did that and I started putting in all these lies to fact bomb people, then I'm just making my content worse. So that helps nobody in the end. So I'm not going to be doing that. I may be doing other funny things in the middle of it, though. There are some other funny plans I have that I cannot disclose at the given time. But so yes, the bloodletting is over. I feel a bit more motivated. I've been playing some good games lately, and I feel all right. We're gonna get dupes, and I wish things weren't the way they were, and I don't have meltdowns. I wish I could be that guy that doesn't express how I genuinely feel, and I could just hold it all in and lie. I wish I could lie. That is my one wish. But unfortunately, I have the problem of being overly honest, and when I feel something's wrong, I let it be known. And I don't mean to target you with all that bullshit. It sucks, and it's probably annoying to hear it, but that's what went down. I'll be continuing to make content. I don't have an exact timeline of what I'm gonna do or how I'm gonna approach it, but that's how it is. I gotta kind of take a break and reassess, because I just rush headfirst into things, and then I get sloppy and demotivated. Okay. That's enough for channel update stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's read some chat while I got it up here. Oh my God. I missed everything. I don't even know where to begin. I'll just go in the middle here. Dude, thank you for such great content. Your channel is a gem. Thank you, Alucard. Dracula himself is here. Sorry that shit happened, dude. Gardenback. No, thank you. Thanks for supporting. Seriously, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Kenny's in here. Like the stream, send it out to more people. Kenny said, there's nothing petty about it. I did a search for the thing you said, and that's 100% true. YouTube is pushing brand new channels with 3 videos way more than established channels. Kenny knows what he's talking about, and Kenny has always been a good homie. Literally, if I have any questions about what I'm doing or how YouTube works, Kenny is there, and he literally has no reason. He has no reason to shout out the channel or watch the streams or whatever. He just came out of nowhere when I needed him the most. So thank you, Kenny. I don't get it. Kenny and I were talking about it, or just like brand new channels made in 2024. First video, 300,000, 300,000 or something ridiculous like that. I think, and this is, I don't even think it's a conspiracy, but I think there's a lot of brand partnerships. There's a lot of agencies that they exist to, boost things and manipulate SEO and what have you. Like if you're a free agent, if you're an independent person on this platform, you are barely holding your head above water in most cases, okay? And you are just at the mercy of RNGesus. The most successful people on this platform cheat. They really do. The cream doesn't rise to the top. Not saying I'm all cream, okay? Not saying I'm a bit bitter as well, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of talent agencies and old Hollywood style type of things going on in the background of YouTube. But I think it is kind of just like putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on just like independent creators and stuff. Like around the time I kind of got demotivated, YouTube was constantly emailing me saying like, hey, it's been X amount of days since your last upload, and it had only been something like a couple weeks, right? But a couple weeks is a lifetime to YouTube. Like, they need you to squeeze more juice out all the time. But if you're a one-man show, it takes time to make videos. It takes time to play games. It takes time to write, edit, thumbnail, tell people, promote, what have you. It's not an overnight thing, unless, which is weird because like a lot of my more successful videos, I did churn out in 24 hours. But once again, it falls more into that like clickbaity, dishonest kind of content stuff, you know. The things I'm least passionate about somehow do the best. I don't know. Help it make sense. As for that bump thing, the new channels, I think it has something to do with them wanting to promote people who leave TikTok or something. Oh, yeah. That's not my world, man. I feel like antiquated. I feel like an old fogey in terms of YouTube, right? I've been here almost 10 years. I mean, I've been a watcher of YouTube since, like, I don't know, 2005. Like, when was AVGN out? I've probably been watching YouTube since about 2005. And I didn't start uploading until about, like, I don't even know. 2013? I should have started sooner. That's the problem. Steven, and he says, I'm always squeezing juice watching Hikikomori Media. So, speaking of squeezing juice, we got to talk about the Coomers for a little bit. Listen. If you can, I had some guy like yelling at me on Twitter. Like every time I crack a joke, there's one guy that takes it for face value, right? I don't know what to do about face value, guys. If you know anything about me, if you've watched the channel, most of what I say is either a joke or humorous, right? So I got up to a little bit of shenanigans. I don't have this video clip because it was taken down, but Stellar Blade has had a bit of a controversy in the Coomer space, in specifically the Coomer space, which is not something you don't want to mess with them, okay? They really take it seriously. There's a whole controversy with Stellar Blade regarding localization. And you know me. I'm not a fan of a lot of localization decisions, and from what I've been shown in all the different changes, like it's costumes and a bit of gore in Stellar Blade on the PS5. So here's the thing. Stellar Blade is a PS5 exclusive, meaning Sony is probably making all these localization calls, okay? And I don't know if it's coming to PC, but if it does come to PC, then this point kind of becomes moot because on PC, it's going to be completely censorship-free, right? I have absolutely no faith. Like, it's not a surprise to me that Sony would modify clothing or edit certain sexual things. It's not a surprise to me that they're a bit hypocritical in what they do choose to censor and what they don't. Like, I think a lot of people kind of subscribe to the concept of, like, you know, either it's all okay or none of it's okay, right? Like, that's, like, true. But I'm not defending Sony. I absolutely not. I have my gripes with them, and from what I can gather from Lance McDonald up on Twitter there, and I guess YouTube as well, Lance... he bought the disc version. The 1.0 version of Stellar Blade is completely uncensored. So it kind of makes a good case for physical media, right? If you want the Coomer build, then you just don't connect online and you install Stellar Blade. There you go, right? Personally, I think instead of making all these like weird localization changes, Sony should, maybe patch in a different mode, like, Amish mode or something. I don't know. Puritanical mode, safe for work mode or something. Like, I don't have a problem if they do put in a safe for work mode. Like, if titties get you sweating or worried or something, if you're afraid you're going to relapse into a coom cycle again, I get it. Put in a safe for work mode. But, I do see the perspective of the coomers in the situation because the game was kind of marketed for being censorship-free, like, no cuts, as it were. So if that had never happened, like, if that wasn't marketed that way, then, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But anyway, but as I said, I got into a bit of trouble because immediately I see the grift going on behind this. Like, there's certain people on Twitter that make it their mission to stand up for the little guy. They care about this cleavage. They care about these butt cracks in games. But it's more than the butt cracks. It's more than the cleavage. It's about freedom of speech. It's about the censorship. It's about the hypocrisy. And I can see right through this bullshit. It's absolutely, they don't give a single fuck about Stellar Blade. They probably don't even have a PS5. They weren't going to buy this game in the first place. This is about marketing themselves. And that's kind of, like, I lived through Gamergate 1, okay? I saw all the grifters that came out of it and stuff like that. And as I said, like, most of the people that were the face of Gamergate, they didn't even play games. They didn't even give a fuck. They just talked about it all the time and made money off of it. And then just like when it became inconvenient for them, they disappeared. Or some of them ran for political office and got fish thrown at them. It was all funny though. I watched it with great delight. It was a lot of entertaining content, but this time around, like, Gamergate 2.0 was just kind of lame. There's nobody funny doing anything, making any funny videos. There's not been any major happenings to kind of, pique my interest. And until the free Stellar Blade movement. And it's been the funniest shit I've ever seen because the guy who was running the petition decided to open up video submissions from anyone. Anyone and everyone can make video submissions giving their testimonials about why Stellar Blade should be free. And my God, like, it's like the Columbine basement tapes have been revealed. Like, straight up, all these school shooters are like releasing all their, oh, Sony, you know what you've done? Do you know what you've done? Like, they're about to talk about their day of retribution over Stellar Blade. It's insane. Now, the thing is, a lot of it's tongue-in-cheek. A lot of people uploaded some troll videos and stuff, and those are pretty funny. But some were, like, dead fucking serious. Like, they were really, really upset. And it's always weird to see the army you've created. It's always weird to see, like, the movement. Like, if you're trying to make a groundswell movement of the little guy versus the big corpo, to see the face of the little guy is doing more damage to the movement. It is so stereotypical. Like, I thought, you have a certain image in your head of what the faceless anime profile pic on Twitter truly is behind the monitor, and then when they upload their testimonial to Stellar Blade, there it is, right dead center, and you're like, holy shit. Like, I'm one of these gamers, I'm a part of this movement. Like, it's like when you go to a band, you go see your favorite band, and then you meet the other people who are into your band, and they all like have like 5 eyes and their tongues hanging out of their mouth, and they're just molesting everyone in the crowd. And you're like, God damn, I'm into the same band? You know? Like, I get it. As I said, I support, like, the original artist intent 100%. And I think Sony's, like, making some dumb moves in general. But also, the Free Stellar Blade movement is cringe. It's so fucking bad. I don't know what to say. Like, I would not go out and picket with these people at all for any of this. In fact, I don't ever want to talk to a gamer again for as long as I live, is the truth of it. I don't even want to step foot in a fucking GameStop anymore. I'm not making eye contact with anyone. No. You know, as I said, it's kind of ridiculous what's going on in the console space. It's reinforced my position to buy most of my games on PC more now than ever. Consoles can't be saved. It's over. It's all over. All right, let's read some chat here. Call up Swery and do a video with him. Fishing with Swery. Swery's got me blocked. No joke. Swery's got me blocked. Stellar with the hard R. Am I right? Yeah, that was another thing. Wait, I'm a juggalo too? Gamers rise down. Yep. It's all like weird, man. Like admitting if you're like in an anime, since Kenny's in here, like you don't want to meet other people in it. Like you don't want to go to the convention. The convention is like where you start to have an existential crisis. Nothing good can come from meeting other fans of things, you know? Never. It's better to just enjoy your hobby in the privacy of your home and never talk to anyone ever for any reason. Living the Dream says, fully agree with you with consoles being dead. Okay, so shall we get into consoles being dead, why consoles are dead? As y'all know, I've been commenting quite heavily on the console space for the entirety of my channel. I would consider myself primarily a console gamer, and all the first party games and stuff I've always bought on console, even though I've had a decent PC to play it on a PC. I buy consoles for exclusives, for weird gimmicks, maybe an abstract sense of loyalty from days gone by. You know, as an older gamer, you know, as one of these boomer gamers here, I remember how things used to be. I remember, you know, getting the full game day one, no updates, no DLC, no pay to win loot boxes and all that shit. And I get into arguments with people all the time. Like, they don't believe that I don't play games online. Like, you know, I don't play Fortnite or whatever the latest money grubbing shit is. Like, I just don't. I don't have any of these online subscriptions either to, like, you know, Nintendo Online. I gave up my Xbox Game Pass like 2 years ago. And PlayStation Plus, I had it. I think I still have it for another 2 years because I bought just 5 years all at once for like rock bottom. So when that runs out, I'm not going to renew it. I don't like modern console gaming. I don't like being a cuck for big console. I don't like being trapped into their subscription model. I don't like I don't have any, like, the only movie subscription service I have is Shudder, and that's because I love Joe Bob Briggs. I love The Last Drive-In, as you can plainly see on my shirt and in my blood and on my face. I love The Last Drive-In. I only have Shudder because I want to support Joe Bob's show, because that show just wouldn't get made otherwise. It really wouldn't. And $7 a month is worth it to me. I would have paid more, honestly, Shudder. That's it. I've eliminated most subscriptions out of my life for good reason. and I've saved a lot of money. Like, all subscription service like PlayStation Plus and Netflix and all that shit, it's become the new cable, and you're getting less for your money. Okay, well, let me give you an example. All right, here's a little millennial moment for you. When Netflix first came out, in the first like 3 years, it was a DVD subscription, meaning you went on their website, you clicked a box of what movie you're going to watch, they'd mail it out to you, you'd keep it for, a week or so, and then you'd send it back. And then around the time Xbox 360 was out, Netflix developed an app where you could watch a digital library, and that was like a new thing. Like that just wasn't a la carte. You could pick out what you wanted, and they were all like weird Z-list movies and B-list movies and anime and everything. You could curate your own playlist. There was like 1,000 movies you can go through, and they would update it regularly. So for that $7, I could get that DVD sent to my house, and I could also get the streaming library. And it was an amazing value. And it was beating cable, because at the time, I had cable in my home. And cable was way fucking expensive, okay? It was like $60, $70 just for the cable, not including the internet and stuff. But after I got Netflix, I was like, I'll cut this cable. And I'll start watching stuff on Netflix, and I'll start, maybe finding some other alternative sources. And I also started watching a lot of YouTube for my content. Now, like the modern day, all the streaming services have now turned into all these like various cottage platforms, right? Like if you want to watch this show, you have to get this sub and so on and so forth. And it just keeps getting ridiculous. Like, all the stuff is spread out, or content gets delisted due to, not being profitable. What's going on with Warner Brothers and the Cartoon Network acquisition and stuff like that. And all the people who worked on those shows aren't getting paid for their content. Look at what's going on with Cartoon Network. It'll make your stomach turn over. Okay, this is also some millennial stuff, but have any of you guys ever seen Cartoon Planet or Space Ghost Coast to Coast, The Brack Show? All the stuff that built Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, the people who worked on those shows aren't getting paid for the shows they created. And like I think YouTube right now, or Adult Swim right now, is streaming Space Ghost nonstop on YouTube, just giving away all that content for free, right? But Andy Merrill, the voice of Brack, the creator of Space Ghost Coast to Coast, he is working at Amazon. And there's nothing wrong with working at Amazon, but this guy made one of the most influential cartoons on Adult Swim, okay? And I believe he's not getting paid for like any royalties for his work on that show. The only royalties he's getting are for like cameo appearances he's made on other cartoons. I think he was on Jelly Bean or something. Like Brack had a cameo on Jelly Bean, and he gets paid like, I don't know, 5 cents a month. Maybe. It's bad. It's real bad. C. Martin Croker, the voice of Zorak from the praying mantis from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. He died. He died of a tooth infection. This dude was like, I don't know. I want to say he was like in his 40s. He could not afford health insurance. He could not pay to get his tooth fixed, and he died from a tooth infection. Adult Swim, Cartoon Network let that happen, okay? So it's kind of a big slap in the fucking face when, these big networks are, compartmentalizing all this content. They're sending out DMCA notices when people pirate. They're delisting this content. They're not making physical media anymore. So, it's not just limited to the video game space. It's happening to cartoons. It's happening to movies. Like we're entering a big lost media crisis right now, okay? And I'm not against piracy, absolutely not. But I want the ability to support the people that made the things I like. And I've always held that position because the problem with having that piracy mindset is that you think you're hurting the big corpo. Like the big corpo is, really going to suffer when you decide to boycott their thing. No, the people who suffer are the people closest to the material, the creative people that made it, the team, the illustrators, the designers, the programmers, all the voice actors, the talent that made it, okay? As we've seen with recently, like the closure of Tango, the people who are suffering most had no faults. Like they didn't choose any of this, okay? So these big corpos are choosing where and when and how you can watch content. They don't want physical medias. They don't want a whole secondhand market where people can buy and sell DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS tapes or whatever. They don't like it. And they're also at the same time not taking care of their own. They're not taking care of their talent. What they want, what big companies want, is they want young, doe-eyed entrepreneurs. They want the young illustrators. Who's that guy? God, I used to subscribe to his YouTube channels. They want to basically take talent from YouTube. They want to take independent developers, and they want to squeeze all of the talent and juice out of them. They want that juice. They're going to get that juice, and when it's too late, whenever all that juice is gone and that person is in their 50s and 60s and they want to retire, nothing is going to be there for them. Nothing. Nada. No golden parachute for the people who built the studios, who built the developer, the big brand, right? That sold the consoles. And I think the wake-up call is happening now, unfortunately, because there's extreme mass layoffs. And it's hitting everything, like every creative segment. And it's like there are these big out-of-touch producers, or these big out-of-touch businessmen that feel that it can be supplanted by AI. Like, they're holding it over like new graphic designers' heads. They're holding it over like the new writers' heads that like, okay, well, if you don't like what you're being paid now, you're replaceable, You're just going to be replaced. So you better quit complaining, it's really fucked up, man. And I really don't know what the solution is at the moment, but my solution has always been, to go back on the original point, to buy physical media and fight for physical media. Because when you have physical media, you have a say in the matter. You have a bargaining chip, as it were, okay? They can't take it away from you. They can throw patches at you. They can throw a patch at you, but you can also have that choice to not connect to the internet as well. So it's quite, I think that's the only solution I can see, is to continually fight for physical media. Like, you have to, in a sense, vote with your wallet, as always. You have to vote with your wallet, and you have to support physical media. And like, literally, I wasn't given that opportunity at first with Hi-Fi Rush. It was on Game Pass. I would have gladly bought it on disc for the Xbox at the time. But they waited a year. The game was a success by their metrics, apparently. I posted it on Twitter. I believe it was Adam Greenberg who confirmed that Hi-Fi Rush met all their metrics, okay? It met all their metrics. It was a smash hit. It got all these awards. Like, what more could you ask for, right? And Shinji Mikami, before he left, his whole stated goal for Tango Gameworks and for his new studio, Kamoi. Silver case. Kill the past. Shinji Mikami, the former president of Tango, his whole goal for that studio was to groom new talent and for them to be successful without him there. And that's been Shinji Mikami's whole career. Okay? We would not have Grasshopper Manufacture. Suda51 would not be the developer he is today if it weren't for our main man, Shinji Mikami. He's the kind of guy that shows up, supports new talent, supports younger developers, gets them on their feet, and leaves them in a better state than they were before he showed up, And I'm sure it's breaking his fucking heart that he sees what's happening to Tango. And it's a fucking sad state of affairs. And I cannot, and I feel awful. Like, I feel awful for the people who work there. I feel awful because Microsoft has a golden opportunity to build a brand new franchise. Like, Hi-Fi Rush is amazing. And it appeals to, like, because they've released it on multiple platforms, it's like now building a broader audience. These kids on Nintendo Switch are going to... this is going to be somebody's childhood game, as it were. And Microsoft has an opportunity to have their own Banjo-Kazooie or something like that, without having to acquire something else. But they didn't. And there's literally... I have not heard a good excuse. Like, there's been some cope posters. I have seen a few Microsoft Xbox cope posters here saying, like, what are they supposed to do? Like, the grid, line didn't go up. The game line didn't go up, but it has. Line has been at the highest point it's ever been for Xbox. Game Pass has been quite successful for them, even though, like, they may have been relying on some pandemic numbers as well. For what it is, it's doing well for them. But they've just lost all vision. There is no visionary at the wheel. Microsoft as a brand has been diluted. It has been essentially stripped of its original identity. Not saying, like, listen, when I bought my Series X, I was on board with the idea to make games more accessible, okay? I think it's a good thing to have gamers have the ability to play your games on as many platforms as possible in many different ways. And Microsoft has done some good things. Xbox has done some great things, especially in terms of the accessibility space. I have disabled friends, okay? I know actual paraplegic people that have been able to have access to games because of their adaptive controller. Like, that shit is legitimately cool. But you can't also be a humanitarian and take a humanitarian stance and also, like, lay off all these fucking people and make them destitute, in the same stance. Like, these two things don't, jive together, in my opinion. But I was also a fan of, their push towards backwards compatibility at first. At first. Like, Microsoft won me into the Series X because it was playing, like, 4 generations of consoles. It was the Series X, the Xbox One, the 360, and the original Xbox. As well as, for a period in time, RetroArch on retail mode. But that went away. So I thought, and you can ask my friend David, who's probably the biggest Xbox stan ever to live. Okay, this guy ate, slept, and breathed and promoted Xbox. Literally, it's almost like it's hard to find an Xbox fan in the wild unless you're playing Halo with him at a LAN party. But David was that. I was more of the Sony Nintendo guy. But he kind of sold me on the idea of the Xbox. He showed me everything about it. He goes, yeah, like, you can carry over your whole library and it spans all your 360 stuff for the most part. You can pop a disc in, it'll download the game. I was like, that is wild to me, and I was really excited for it. And I will tell you the primary reason I was excited for the Series X was I could play Deadly Premonition on it day one, you know? Well, not day one. I think it got patched later, but I could play Deadly Premonition 4K, anti-aliasing, no load times, all the textures, all the uncompressed sound. It was literally the definitive way to play Deadly Premonition, as well as Shadows of the Damned. But Shadows of the Damned is getting remastered, so it may not be that for long. But as it stands, the Series X is the definitive way to play Deadly Premonition. So that is literally the only reason why I haven't sold it. I don't care for anything new that Microsoft's putting out now or in the future or now. I just care about playing Deadly Premonition. So that's it. That's really it. It also plays D4. I think it plays The Missing as well. So like if you want to get the good sweary verse, you know, it's a good. If you want to play 360 games, I'd recommend it for 360 games. If you want to play Nier, Papa Nier in 60 frames per second, you can do that on your Series X. And you can buy it secondhand, and you don't have to give Microsoft your money to do it, which is nice. And so, does that make me a hypocrite to hold two positions? Does it? I do it for sweary. I do it for that reason. I literally can't even think of a new, like a first-party Xbox game that I've purchased for my Series X. I can't. The only thing I've purchased for it, current gen, was the Yakuza stuff, Like a Dragon. And I mostly did that to test for my videos on the subject. So, yeah. It's good as dead to me. This Xbox is over. I think they'll find success on other platforms. I think they'll probably just move Game Pass. Like they'll probably make some deal with Nintendo. I don't know that Sony will ever put Game Pass on their platform. They may be the only holdout, but you know, phones, PC, and all that. I don't know that anyone would rush out and want to buy an Xbox for any reason other than some like misguided loyalty. And I can't imagine like looking at how Series X sold, especially on the international level. I can't imagine many of those holdouts are still there. Living the Dream says, honestly, I kind of agree with you on the Xbox Series X, but if you're okay with 720p, won't a modded Xbox 360 do the same with even more freedom? Yeah, absolutely. I've shown off, there is an Xbox video on my channel, the 360 video. Probably one of my more popular videos, so you've probably already seen it if you're watching this. But I did show off my modded 360. Let me show it off right now. What better time than now? I got one right here. You can tell it's modded. This is my modded Xbox 360S edition right here. I don't know if I can keep that in frame. What kind of right there. It's joining us for the stream. Welcome. Konnichiwa. I didn't mod that myself. I actually have two modded Xbox 360s. The first mod I ever got was a JTAG for the 360 Fat, the original launch Red Ring model. I got mine JTagged so I could play burned DVDs on it. And it was mostly for games like back when the 360 was new. Games were really expensive and I was really poor. So I had a person that I knew that would gladly, like, in exchange for DVD-Rs, they would back up my legit copies of 360 games for safekeeping so I could play them. And because, I don't know, I can't really rationalize it other than I was fucking broke. So I had that. But in my defense, my 360 red ringed a total of 6 times. Not kidding. 6 times I sent it into that coffin to Microsoft before I said, fuck it. I'm going to sell off my 360 games, mod this fucker. You know, I did everything. I even replaced like the fans in it and everything I could to keep it from dying. I'm going to mod it, and then I'm just going to burn my games for my time. So it took me about 6 times to learn the lesson that I should have just modded it. And then around that time, after I sold all my 360 games, I actually bought a PS3 because the PS3 was even more expensive at the time. And I bought it in Metal Gear 4, and I bought Little Big Planet for it. And then so for that generation, like after the second year of the 7th generation or whatever, I just bought everything on PS3, and it was fine. And then if I wanted to play a 360 game, I'd burn it. But I kind of was bummed out that I had sold all my 360 collection because the 360 had some amazing exclusives. So when prices came back down, I rebought my 360 collection and I got the exclusives. And when I started making videos, I would do like version comparisons between 360 and PS3 exclusives. And turns out most of the 360 third-party stuff played better. Anti-aliasing, yeah, it had bloom, better loading times, 30 frames to 60 frames. For some reason, the majority of games on the 360 third-party played better. So I rebuilt my collection. Then, this video, I made a video right here. See this? This is my modded. This actually has a mod chip in it. I bought a 360 Slim, I want to say about 5 years ago, when nobody cared about them, because they removed a majority of the independent library from the 360. It was called XNA. Like anyone could submit a game for it. So I wanted to play some of those XNA games. So I bought it and I got it modded, put a new hard drive in, did some like FTPing and put on some indie games on there. And then I was also curious to play region lock games. And there are a few region lock 360 games. No More Heroes was one of them. And I believe Red Seed's Profile, Deadly Premonition, the Japanese version, was region lock. So I got it and I played those region lock games. And I did that for my Deadly Premonition video. So I think I do show it off in my Deadly Premonition video. Like if you watch it in the sweary files, you'll see me putting this blank disc of Red Seed's Profile in my 360, and that's it. That's what I did. So yeah, on your point, whoever raised that point, yes, I would recommend getting a modded 360, but I don't know what the prices are like right now. But if you want to preserve the content and get full access to all the delisted games, because this July, if you didn't know, July 2024, people watching the archive of this, that is the day when Microsoft removes the store from the Xbox 360. They're pulling the trigger. Sony was going to pull the trigger first with the PS3. They haven't yet. They walked that back. But Microsoft is making the decision to no longer sell games digitally on the 360. Now, I guess if you've already bought the games, like if you already own a digital game, you should still be able to re-download it. We'll see how long they keep that promise up. But they are removing, I believe somebody had documented, there was over like 150 titles that are getting delisted that are nowhere else. Now, granted, a lot of those are probably Kinect-related games. If you didn't know, Kinect games, all the Kinect games that have Kinect features, like where it's required to play, are still exclusive to the 360. And if you go and watch my 360 video, an Xbox 360 in 2024 or whatever the name is right now, I do show some of the good Kinect games. There's a Steel Battalion game that's really great. But yes, Diabolical Pitch is another one. Suda51, Grasshopper Manufacturer. Diabolical Pitch is one of those games, unfortunately. There are no plans. Like, there are no plans to post those anywhere else. The Kinect only works with the 360 unless you get drivers for your PC. But I haven't even gone into that. I don't even know if the Kinect is compatible with Zinnia. But I don't imagine it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in there. But the Kinect, I'm going to say I was one of the idiots that bought the Kinect at launch because I thought it was cool and I wanted to play it with my family and show them how futuristic the games are getting. And I wouldn't say it was a complete disappointment. We did have some fun. We played that Kinect Adventures, and I think there was a Just Dance game or something like that. So I had a couple of parties where people came over. So, it was good for a party or two. But the Kinect 1.0 just did not live up to the hype. There are some good games for it. Go watch my 360 video if you want to know what they are. But the Kinect 2.0, which is also exclusive to the Xbox One line, I will say it improved and lived up to all the hype. The Kinect 2.0 rules, and it is the definitive way to play D4. If you're going to play Dark Dreams Don't Die, you got to play with the Kinect at least once. Okay, take it from Hikiko. All my cards are on the table. That's the way you got to go. All right, I got also... ears perked up at X and A, says Jackie Daytona. Jackie knows what's up. Dishwasher. I made a game with zombies in it. Velvet Tea Cake. Those prices are going up. Yeah. If you're gonna get a modded 360, you gotta put the Rising Sun decal on it. Okay. Show them online. Show them online what you're working with, what your plans are. I know there's people before me that were into shoot 'em ups like bullet hell games. There's a humongous bullet hell scene on the Xbox 360. So if you're into that stuff, if you're into Tate mode, if you're into Tate mode, there's games for you. And I believe since the 360 also operates in standard def, you can play almost all your games on a CRT. I wouldn't recommend the original Dead Rising on a CRT. I tried. It's impossible. The font just it's not legible. Kenny says the Kinect 2.0 doesn't even work as a proper ghost detector. You're going to have to ask Irate Gamer about that, the ghost doctor, okay? I will defer all ghost hunting to the ghost doctor himself, Chris Borez, the Irate Gamer ghost doctor. He has gotten in touch with George Floyd. He's reached... he's going to heal these wounds. That shit is surreal to me. Shout out to Irate Gamer, though, for real. I gotta love him. Let's see. I heard the rumor about Shinji Mikami will reunite with Suda51 after he left Tango Gameworks. I wouldn't doubt it. They're still homies. I think at least they'll show up for a Shadows of the Dam-like thing because they collaborated on that. And Killer 7, of course. But I was talking with I think it was Paradise Hotel 51. Shout out. I was talking with them. I was like, "Hey, whatever happened to Massimo Garani, who's the real director of Shadows of the Damned?" If you didn't know, an Italian man by the name Massimo, he was the real director of Shadows of the Damned. I guess he was a scab in a sense. because EA wanted to put in a director and rein in Suda's ideas, so they put in Massimo. But Massimo is actually a competent director. He did direct Open Season, if you didn't know. But no, Massimo actually has some good games out there. He's the last time I checked on him, he had a company called Ovo Sonico. And Ovo Sonico directed The Last Day of June and Murasaki Baby on the Vita. And I enjoyed both of those games. They're a bit more like artsy, platformer-based, adventure-based. But he does put out good work. Like, Open Season just isn't... I know Open Season is what he's known most for. One thing I regret. So if you guys out there want some Open Season... If you want some Open Season lore, I want to see ones in chat.
Okay, throw me some numbers.
Throw me some numbers. I want ones in chat if you want some Open Season lore. I'm ready to deliver this baby. I don't have enough for the revival. I would really like to get that. We'll throw it in growth. I still have Bill and Lance. We're gonna do Lance, and we got the chapter 3 here. This is gonna be. I bet it's gonna be tough. These time limits are 20, so you know it's gonna be tough. One lonely one. One lonely one. Oh, we're gonna pencil ones. Keep going. I want to see more. I want to get some revivals before anything. Where's the tiramisu? This is the one. This is the one I want. A wall of ones. A wall of ones. Okay. So as you know, I have the definitive review of Open Season in my Shadows of the Damned retrospective. If you haven't ever watched that, I was the first person on YouTube to put out a feature-length retrospective on Shadows of the Damned, and I'm also the only person to ever connect Open Season and Shadows of the Damned. I'm happy to do it, but I learned something else. Not only did Massimo Garani work on Shadows of the Damned, but another infamous developer, was a level designer on Open Season and got their start in the game industry on Open Season, the movie, the game. Are you ready for this revelation? Are you ready?
Think you can get it inside mine?
Think you can? Does anyone know in chat who else worked on Open Season? Their first game as a level designer. I did not even know I was playing Kino up until that moment. I hate these ring guys. I'm gonna say his given name. Philippe Poussin. Philippe Poussin. He was a level designer for Open Season. That was the first game. Before he was known for Fez, Phil Fish was a level designer on Open Season. That's where he got a start in the industry. Blew my fucking mind. Everyone worked on that game. So there you have it. Everything is linked. Everything in this world is linked. It's all coming together now. I wish I would have included that, but I found that out after I had made my video. So you're hearing it now here first. You're hearing it now first. Welcome. Welcome to the cool stream. It's actually getting pretty intense now. I have the worst weapon at the moment, and time is ticking down. The mobs are getting tough. I may have to switch to Bill, because Lance... I keep aggroing all the protectors here. Hold on. Let's switch to Bill. Because Lance Bean just does not have a good starter, and I didn't get good rolls there. There's nothing I could do. Get with the time, Mr. Get with the Times Japan. You guys want to here's some old Hikikomori lore, okay? I got a lot of new subscribers that have just like joined this year or last year, and they don't know any of the lore. So I got to really do my best to catch everyone up to speed here. But one of my earliest videos, and this is like 300 subscriber Hikiko, okay? We're talking like 2014 Hikiko. 2014 Hikiko went to a gaming convention called the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. Screw Attack became Rooster Teeth and then became nothing. I think that's how it went. Anyway, Screw Attack was like where the Angry Video Game Nerd got his start. And let's see, like Death Battle and I don't know, like Pro Jared and Peanut Butter Gamer, and I think that's how it went. Maybe Normal Boots branched out, but anyway, Screw Attack was like early YouTube eCeleb gaming content area. Okay, I went to go see Mega 64. I went to go see AVGN, and one other guest was there that I wanted to see. It was Keiji Inafune. Keiji Inafune, right at the beginning of Mighty Number 9, when everyone loved him. When everyone loved him and they were so hyped and everything, and it was like the first major Kickstarter anyone ever heard about. I went to go see Keiji Inafune. So if you want some ultimate Hikikomori lore, like the deepest, if we're doing the iceberg, this is the abyss. This is the abyss level shit, okay? There's a couple of things here. We're going to go up top. Like, how did Hikiko get the channel icon? If you see my profile picture of the channel of Hikikomori Media, you might recognize I'm there. That's me on the right, and the guy on the left is somebody else. Care to guess who it is? That's me and Keiji Inafune. I took that photo with him, and I was very happy to take that photo. The photo with him is also an interesting story, but we're not going to talk about that. I was really happy to meet him, okay? And ironically, like after all this controversy and stuff with Mighty Number 9, it just became funnier to keep that photo of just me and, and Keiji Inafune, okay? But I got to meet him. But before I met him, I caused a little problem. So, I'm at this gaming convention, and I thought it would be funny to do like a skit, okay? I like man on the street kind of things, like where people go and ask awkward questions and film the weird things that are happening at conventions. Like you'll see somebody will go out to an anime convention or a furry convention, and they'll find the weirdest people they can and ask them questions, and shenanigans ensue, right? Well, I went to this gaming convention. I went to SGC 2014, and just weird shit was happening all around me all the time. And I thought it would be real funny to play a character. Okay, this is going to sound kind of like a dick thing, but hear me out. Comedy was my intent. I decided to play a character of an indie developer that was really pretentious and thought he was hot shit and had the best game ever, right? And I went to there was independent game developers there, like the people who were making Broforce were there, and a few other indie games, like the Aberdeen, right? The Aberdeen game, like all that during that time. If you've ever seen this video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I dress up like the most pretentious developer I could think of, Phil Fish, right? So I got the beanie on, I got the thick rim glasses, and I'm going around. There's a film of me going around looking at all the independent games that are being developed, and my character is just disgusted by how jealous he is that he didn't think of all of these things first. And I didn't have a booth at the indie table, but what I was doing was I was handing out demos of my game, and the demo of my game, my character's game was called The Colors You Don't See. Okay, that was the name of the indie game that I had concocted, and I had convinced somebody there at the convention that I was in fact an independent developer, and they interviewed me. There was an interview on YouTube somewhere. I think the guy's name's like Ryan's Game Corner or something like that. I don't think he's around anymore. But they interviewed me thinking I was an indie developer. And I told them all about my game, and that my game was called The Colors You Don't See. And I just made up the most pretentious shit ever about how it was a minimalist game and that it was like a one-man dev team, and I did everything, and it's taken me 7 years, and I had producers and all this shit. And then at the very end, I hand this guy a blank sheet of paper, and he goes, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's a demo for my game." And he goes, "What?" I was like, "It's a demo for my game, The Colors You Don't See." And it's just this blank white sheet of paper. And that was it. So for that whole day, I went around as basically Phil Fish, and I decided to take it one more notch. The last thing I thought to do was I went to the Q&A. There was a big Q&A in the big hall where there was 1,000 people, and it was Keiji Inafune and his translator on the panel. And there was a big line of people, but I snuck my way into that line. I got in there because obviously they could only have about 10 questions, because every question they wanted to ask to Keiji Inafune, they had to translate it, and then, you know, it was going to be really long, and so I had to get in there. So I snuck in, and there I am in my beanie and my thick rimmed glasses, and there's Stuttering Craig right there. And Stuttering Craig this is his convention, so he's trying to move people along and, you know, field some questions for Keiji Inafune, who's everyone's hero at this time. He was a literal sacred cow back in 2014 when this shit was going down. Literally could do no wrong. And so I swallow up, like, I don't even know why. Like, 2014 Miles was insane and had the balls to do this, but I went up to the front of the line and I go, "Hi, Keiji, I'm also a developer, and you have been very critical of Japanese games in the past. So I want to know, why do Japanese games suck?" And the whole room, like the auditorium, just was like, whoa. You could hear they were all like booing and stuff because I shit on Japanese game. Me, Hikiko, you know, shitting on, going up to Keiji Inafune and asking him why Japanese games suck. And believe it or not, Keiji just rolled with it. He was just fine with it. He goes, you know, there's a lot of different things that, like, he actually gave a really long response. And I think the gist of it was, he goes, a lot of Japanese developers are stuck in the past, and they're afraid of upsetting their bosses, essentially. And I think he was like implying Capcom at the time and relating it back to himself, and that he found faith in the independent scene. So that video is up there somewhere on the internet, on YouTube somewhere. I was embarrassed by it because, I mean, I seriously loved Keiji Inafune at the time, and I still think he's kind of cool ultimately. But like, if I'm not gonna get mad at him or yell at him or anything for Mighty Number 9, I didn't kickstart it. So, like, Stuttering Craig was right next to me, and I could see he didn't know what to do. And I reassured him that it was a serious question, that I wasn't just a troll, because there was a seed of truth in there. And he didn't kick me out, to Craig's credit. And the very next morning, I don't know. As I said, so many crazy fucking things happened at that convention. Like that same night, I met like Mike Matei and AVGN and stuff, and that was pretty cool. But the very next morning, I went to the indie game hall because I made some friends with some of the indie developers. They understood what I was trying to do. They understood my bit, the indie game developer bit. They saw me at the KG panel, and they were all like talking about it and stuff like that. So we all had a good laugh. And I was hanging out playing people's games at the indie game row, and it's like 9 a.m. and KG Inafune shows up to the indie game row, and he is going around playing and chatting with everyone. Like literally everyone who considers him all conceited. I saw a different side of KG Inafune. He went around talking with like new developers and checking out their games, and right before I met him, before I actually got to talk with KG Inafune, there was a guy possibly on the spectrum wearing a lobster hat. I don't even know how to describe it, but this dude was he had a cowboy hat that had a lobster on it, and he went over and he asked KG about 4 questions. It was like one of those things like where people trap you in questions and they don't stop. But KG sat there and listened and had all this dude's annoying questions translated for him. And so right after Lobster Cowboy Man, I went over and I said hello, and I said I loved Mega Man Legends, and I asked him for a picture, and without hesitation, KG Inafune stood next to me, put his arm around me, and I was so delighted that he did not, like, tell me to fuck off or anything, because he knew I was that guy that asked him that really awkward question the day before. So, I mean, sure, Mighty Number 9 might be a blunder, but to me, I think KG Inafune, he's tight with me. We're dead homies. I'm Inafune pilled for life. He can do no wrong in my eyes as far as I'm concerned. So that's the origin of my channel icon, okay? I met KG Inafune. He had no reason. He literally had no reason to ever take that photo with me, but he did. And I'm going to keep it the way it is, because somebody had suggested, like, you know, maybe change your icon to an anime Miles, anime Hikiko and stuff. But no, that the channel icon stays. It is sentimental. And it gave me the motivation to, you know, continue on with this channel. Like, you know, there's so many crossroads that I've been through on here that I've wanted to quit, but that was one of the good memories that stuck with me. All right, let's read some chats. That was a long tangent. God, where's my water? Was that the same one where Gaijin Goomba started talking to KG in Japanese? I think I know who you're talking about, because Gaijin Goomba wore a Goomba hat, and I think he wore his own merch all throughout that con, so people would know that he was indeed Gaijin Goomba. So that sounds right. That tracks. I did not witness that, but that is hilarious to me. That is hilarious to me. Some very weird stuff happened at that convention. I would say out of all the conventions I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them, SGC was one of the oddest. From user base to happenings. I think I told you about the time I tried to talk to JonTron. Okay, first of all, David tried to talk to JonTron first. JonTron was playing like the Neo Geo or something, and David was more of a fan of JonTron than I was. Like, you know, I've seen a couple of his videos, and I only kind of want to meet the dude, you know? I just like, whatever, he's there. But David tried to talk to JonTron, and JonTron was playing like Neo Geo, and David was just like filming some B-roll of the convention. He didn't even say anything to JonTron. He just was like filming. I think it was like JonTron and the Completionist were playing Neo Geo or something, and David was like filming off to the side, and JonTron just like put the sticks down, turned to David and goes, "What? What? What do you want?" And David had nothing to say. Like, David was not bothering him really. And then I guess like the Completionist was actually nice to David. Let's actually do a redemption arc here for Girard on the cool stream. but I guess like, you know, David hung out with Girard for a bit and filmed Girard, and Girard was just cool with it. The David's got his own channel, King Game Review. I'm sure all of this is documented there somewhere. And David, if he's in the chat, he'll probably tell you the same. But Girard was actually cool with David. And David's like the most mellow guy. Like, David, this was all David's idea. David was an actual G1. He was an actual G1 at the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. I was just a poser, okay? But I saw Pro Jared and JonTron like hanging out and talking and stuff like that. And I didn't even want a picture or anything. I just wanted to go over there and just say, "Hey, what's up? I'm starting a channel," or I was in the midst of starting my channel, and I was just like, like, "Hey, you got any tips or anything?" Maybe that was too much. Maybe that's too forward. Okay, that was 2014, Miles. I would never do that now. Now there is no advice. It's all over. YouTube's dead. But no, I went over to like, talk to all the content creators and just say, "Hey, what's up?" And like, I'm filming some stuff here. You got any tips, whatever. When I go over to talk to JonTron, I kid you not, some douchebag pulled the fire alarm in the building. So JonTron took that as an excuse to dash away, as he should, because could be a fire. And then on my way out, there is a photo. I don't know if I've posted it, but as we're all running towards the fire exit, next to me is Pro Jared, and I was like, "Hey, would this be a funny time to take a photo?" And he's like, "Sure." So I take this photo. It's like me and Pro Jared dashing out of this building where there's this fire alarm, and we all look fucking gross as fuck. It's a great photo. I'll have to pull it up sometime and post it. But that was pretty much the only E-celeb I met. Nick Black with the 10 euros. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nick Black, for the 10 euros. Just a smiley face. You know what, Nick? You're getting a heart. That's me and KG. Me at KG is blessing you right now. Y'all can see that. Come get your blessings if you want the good vibes and the good the good look, I guess. Where are we at in this cool stream? We are almost 2 hours, right about where I want to be. Right about I'm going to say, like, if I can't beat this freaking level or at least progress, maybe we'll end it here. It's up to you guys. Really up to you guys. Hanging on by a thread. But it's nice to do one of these cool streams and let you know I'm doing all right. I really am. Like, on the outside of the channel, life is okay now. It's been a rough year in general. But I won't get into all that. Like, when I talk about stuff on the stream, I want to keep it primarily content-focused, channel-focused. But we're going to figure something out, as we always do. I think I know the Coomers. That's who I should be aiming for, always. My new target audience. So we're going to find a new way to redo all my thumbnails. All cleavage all the time. Something like that. Like, I know the old homies will understand what I'm doing if I do that. A huge alien cyborg is detected. Oh, God. So that's probably the Grim Reaper equivalent here. We're about to find out. Oh, jeez. We need to get juiced. Big time. Big time. Oh, man. This is getting great, though. I really wanted to unlock Probotector for all the PAL fans of Probotector. Oh, I also want to give a shout-out to somebody. I'm going to give everyone here a shout-out. Everyone shout-out for real. Thanks for joining. But I do want to give a shout-out to... I don't know if they want me to tell their YouTube name, but I found their YouTube. There was a guy who ran into me, an actual bona fide Hikikomori Media subscriber that ran into me IRL and recognized me somewhere. I'm not going to disclose the location, but they recognized me somewhere, and I was completely blown away. They were like, hey, man, I watched your last video and everything, and it just makes absolute sense, is what they said. Oh, my God. Is this the Super Contra skeleton? They included it. This is so sweet, dude. This was worth the $2 I paid for it, honestly. To be honest, fam. Yeah, let's get that cooldown. Good luck. Good luck. So I do want to give a shout out to that person I ran into IRL. That's happened before. Somebody has recognized me IRL, and thankfully everything has been under peaceful and normal circumstances, just, out in the wild, or somebody my girlfriend worked with, she had told the person that I was a YouTuber, and she told him, oh, you can go on the wall. Oh, nice. She had told him that my channel name, and she goes, oh, that's Hikiko? You're fucking that guy? Basically, that's kind of how that story went. So I was kind of flattered and embarrassed at the same time. It's kind of weird when that happens, but this time around, when somebody recognized me out in the wild, it was really sweet. They said, hey, man, I saw your last video, and I totally understand where you're coming from. He goes, I used to run a YouTube channel, but I deleted everything. And I was like, damn. So we chatted for a little bit and talked some games and all that, and it was just really nice. So thank you to that person who I ran into. You never know. That was really cool. I was not expecting that the skeleton from Super C to show up, and it was faithful. They actually had, you can't swing off the wall or climb it. You just walk around it. That's a really unique idea. Let's see what I unlocked. I bet I unlocked something for that. I unlocked Colonel Bahamut. Okay, let's do the Colonel. We'll get one started. Dr. Claw over here. And Gun City. Okay, well, let's see if I can power some stuff up. We'll get some duplicator, get the move up, get some magnet. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I really hope Konami gives them the blessing to do Castlevania stuff. Like, somebody had mentioned here in the chat that this is a humongous missed opportunity for Konami. Like, Konami is somewhat on a redemption arc, somewhat. I'm loosely using the term redemption arc here. But if Konami was smart, they would snatch up Vampire Survivors, put it under their umbrella, and throw Castlevania in, along with Contra. Let's see here. Hold on. I can relate. I had to cancel my YouTube show last month. Dylan, you had a YouTube show? Dylan, hit me up on Twitter. I hope you didn't quit entirely. If you want to talk about it, seriously, hit me up. I have been in the mindset before to delete fucking everything. Old DFE, okay? but I wouldn't recommend it. I've always regretted when I was like really starting off, like we'll say 300 subs Hikiko. I almost deleted everything. I had deleted everything, and I don't know, it was like maybe 3 years into the channel. I had deleted everything, and then I was like, yeah, fuck this. Fuck this. Let's go live my life outside of YouTube. Too good for that. And then, like, as the day progressed, and I thought about all the work and all the stuff I put into those videos and all the people that were nice and liked those videos, I'm like, oh, God, what have I done? This is a mistake. And then somebody made me a video saying, like, hey, don't quit. Don't quit, Hikiko. Keep going. Somebody had actually made me a video. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, I made a mistake. And I emailed YouTube, and this was like, I don't know, like 2017 or so. I emailed YouTube, and I actually got a response from a person. And that person was just like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. We still have all the I see it right here. Yeah, we'll undelete it for you. And within like 48 hours, my channel was back. And everything was back. And I was just like, oh my God, what did I do? I was like, I couldn't imagine doing that now. I couldn't imagine doing it right now. I would feel awful if I deleted my channel now. If my channel gets deleted, it's because it got struck by something, okay? It was an act out of my control, okay? But I'm going to try and keep my commitment to not delete the channel. I want it to be around, like, you know, after I'm no longer in this mortal shell, as it were. Okay? I want it to be around. Because it's happening a lot. As Kenny, our boy Kenny, said, a lot of cool people have left YouTube, or are in the process, or thinking about leaving YouTube, or have already left and have been long gone. And anytime I feel down about how things are going on the channel, like, I'm not getting any traction, it's like stagnant growth-wise, I go down my list and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't thought about that person in like 3 years, 5 years. They've been gone for so long. What happened? What happened? And I go through and I watch all the channels that influenced me. And it's wild to think, like, channels that I thought were, like, top tier. Like, huge. Like, as I said, back in the day, like in my video there, like, having 5,000 subscribers was humongous. Okay? You know, having 1,000 views, that was the big time. And a lot of the people that influenced this channel were around that, and that's where they left things off. Like, you know, they maybe only got like 5,000 subscribers or whatever. Puts things into perspective. Like, I love these channels. I watched every single one of their videos. I talked with some of these people too. I actually became friends with some of these channels, and my channel has grown beyond that. Not that it's a competition, but I'm like, I think about it, it's like, am I that guy for somebody else? Like, is there somebody out there starting, you know, they watch my channel, they like my stuff, and then they go? Like, maybe that, like, if I give up, if I delete my shit, then I'm also, like, maybe discouraging somebody else from, you know, being creative and putting something out there. It's one of those things you don't really consider, like, when you're in your headspace, being selfish and woe is me and all that like, maybe it's more important to weather the storm and stop being a bitch and get back to it, you know. But in the same hand, it's important to vent too, because it, like, if I told you everything was, like, you know, coming up roses, you know, sunshine and daisies, as it were, I'd be lying to you. It certainly hasn't. It's not been easy, but it's not just limited to Hikiko. It's like hitting everyone. And as I said, there's been channels that I've watched forever that are either struggling or that have just quit. And I'm like, these guys are far more talented than my ass, and they're gone. Like, what chance do I have? So, you got to keep the passion. You got to keep the fire alive. And if you're out there and you have a YouTube channel or you're trying to get started or if you feel like giving up, do reach out to me. Now, not in like, I'm a, I wish you would step back from, not that. Please, I'm not qualified for that. But if you want some like YouTube, advice or like some inspiration, I don't know. If you want to talk about it, just hit me up because I've made some like really good friendships and really good, I guess, contacts, if you will, through this channel, and just people I've seen around for years. Just old people or people in my Discord, up on Twitter, or whatever. So I know there's some bona fide Hikikomori homies, and apparently IRL. We have now crossed over into IRL again. So it's humbling and fun when that happens. So thanks for not being crazy, everyone, and being cool. But yeah, I'll give some shout outs. There's this guy I used to watch all the time on YouTube, and if you're into survival horror, and if you're into like Alone in the Dark, and like weird Game Boy games and stuff like that, one of my favorite channels starting out was a guy called Michael's Retro Game Reviews. Michael's Retro Game Reviews. I think he used to go by David Hasselhoff, but he changed it to Michael's Retro Game Reviews. Anyway, I love that guy. He put out a full Alone in the Dark retrospective, and I always thought that was such a cool idea. I mean, it in the vein of like, a full series retrospective, but I always liked that guy. He was very humble and kind of funny and, nerd like the rest of us, but he always had some like weird, obscure games that I never heard of and got me curious to dig into, especially like international collections and stuff. If you didn't know, America rarely gets any cool shit ever. It gets, like 505 Game Street or something like that. Like all the simple series games. Japan and Europe got them. Brazil maybe got them. Mexico maybe got them. But not America. So we were deprived of a lot of cool jank shit. And I found out about some of that stuff through him. And I liked his style. And he also, like me, was an editor in Sony Vegas. There are very few of us nowadays that are still editing in Sony Vegas, but we're the few, the proud. It's not Sony Vegas, it's Magic Vegas now, but we're out there. We out there. But I think he just, like a lot of YouTubers, they grow up, they start a family, and they just find other things to do. And I think that's the natural order of things when somebody goes away. But if you're clinically ill, if you're mentally deficient in some way, and you're just hooked on making videos, you just never leave. You're here forever, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's where I'm at right now. Sorry. Sorry for all the doomsayers. But it's going okay. Hey, Kenny says, looks like he deleted his Twitter and hasn't uploaded in 5 years. Well, that makes sense. If I could delete my Twitter and if I could quit it, it sounds like, like heroin or some shit. But I have to use Twitter for promotion, and I have to get out some of my shit posting. But sadly, Twitter is one of those promotion tools in my belt. And if I didn't have it, YouTube wouldn't do anything for me. Literally nothing. YouTube does zip to promote HM. Zip. A lot of my traffic does come from external sources, so I'm kind of bound to it if I want anyone to watch my shit, sadly. But I kind of cooled it a bit on Twitter, okay? I'm not getting wrapped up in all the nonsense, okay? But yeah, if he quit Twitter, then yeah, sure. He's smarter than most of us. But yeah, he hasn't uploaded in like 5 years. But I think even before that, he had changed the direction of his channel because he just didn't have time for it. And people got upset and da-da-da-da-da. Like, you see that a lot. Like, when somebody pivots their content because there's been a change in their life, people take it, like, as a personal offense. They get slighted. You know, maybe it's entitlement or whatever. I get it. Like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Like, you always get that. It's kind of like those, I used to work retail, okay? I think we've all worked a retail job or a shitty customer service job. And you always get those guys that are just like, let me speak to your manager. Or, well, if you don't do this unreasonable demand for me, if you don't bend to my will, I'll never return again. Like, what kind of threat is that? Okay, so you're causing me this distress right now. You're fucking with me at my job, and you say you're not going to return. Like, where's the downside here for me? You know, and I think that's been happening to some of the channels I've been following. Like, they'll do a content shift, they'll do a content pivot into another area of some kind, and some people just get up in arms, and it's never like the true homies of the channel. It's never somebody that's been there for a few years. It's like somebody that's just passing by. They've watched like 1 or 2 of your videos, and now they want you to do everything the same way, or they just want to just like boss you around, and it's just like, die. Of natural causes, of course, but like literally nobody. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Like, I can't add more time to my life. I can't go full Hikikomori neat mode all the time. Sometimes I can, but not all the time. And if I made the same content all the time, I would not want to make content. Like, I'd get bored with it. And the algorithm kind of rewards repetition, if you will. Same but slightly different, if that makes sense. And some guy, okay, this really blew my mind. Okay, you want to hear some shit? I made my video where I talked about my frustrations with YouTube and the channel. My last video, my most recent video. And some guy, this blew my mind. You're not going to believe this. He goes, huh, nobody's watching your channel. Maybe it has something to do with pivoting away from obscure Japanese games. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just uploaded one of my most obscure Japanese game retrospectives, 4 games that literally killed my channel for doing so. Every one of my system retrospective videos, out of the like 20 to 50 games I talk about, most all of them are obscure Japanese games. Like, what? If you want to be real, my most successful content on this channel, it's not my Japanese stuff. It's not my obscure Japanese stuff. If anything, that's my passion project, okay? That's my passion. I literally don't make any money doing obscure Japanese stuff most of the time. You know? If you look at my most successful videos on my channel, it's all about the system videos and stuff like that, right? So, just, like, I made this guy mad by doing something I was already doing that he wanted me to do, which I was already doing. So... And I told him, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? like that's all I could say. Like, those are the worst kind of comments. Like, just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I am doing that thing. And at the same time, he was kind of proving my point. Like, Yeah, like YouTube is just not recommending all of this. The guy who turned up, the one guy who turned up for the obscure Japanese games is feeling let down, but he doesn't know I've been doing it. It's there. I promise. I hope he's still subscribed. Dylan says, I just watched what interests me. The idea that you would always cover something that I'm personally interested in is ridiculous. For example, your C-bomb stuff, I skipped it, but I was still happy for you. Yeah. As far as the C-bomb stuff is concerned, strike while the iron is hot. I was first on the scene. What can I say? It was a story I contributed heavily to. So yeah, if people dipped out during that, I understand. A lot of people also showed up for that, so it's whatever. Like you can't make everyone happy all the time. And Daddy's got to do something for Daddy sometimes, you know? Daddy's got to smoke a whole pack while working on one of his project cars. Leave him alone. I don't know. But I didn't forget my roots. Literally, I still make odd, obscure things, and I talk about weird accessories and odd things from a console perspective because I'm a console gamer to my own detriment. All right. Is that about it? Are we good? Are we good?
Nani?
Are we good? I think we've been going at this for 2 hours. That's a modest stream, humble stream. Thanks for the hearts. I saw somebody spamming that hearts over there. Thank you. I'm sorry if I didn't get to everyone's questions in chat. There's people throw in some paragraphs, and I'll be on a train of thought, and it's hard to disengage sometimes. So if you have any questions or whatever, there's 2 places you can hit me up. You can always hit me up on Twitter at Hikikomori Media, or a new meeting ground. Okay? If you want to ask me a personal question that you know I will answer, that I'm legally obligated to answer, the new meeting ground is my Frog Minutes review. Some people got the memo, some people did not. But if you want to ask me a question, you can leave it on the Frog Minutes review, and I will answer that. Okay, that's a permanent thing going forward. That somebody's gonna just randomly stumble upon the Frog Minutes review and find all these random questions. But that's where it's at. That's the meeting ground for the true ones and everyone watching in the archive. If you didn't know, Hikikomori Cool Streams, all of them, they go unlisted immediately after the stream, but they do go in the playlist. There is a Cool Stream playlist, so if you want hundreds of hours of content, there you go. Good stream. Thank you, Gardenback. Threadweaver, we good. Sentry, that's right, Zach. Kenny says, I think that's why a lot of the small channels hyper specialize in stuff. Pikmin 4 review, ranking every Pikmin enemy. But yeah, I get it. I see hyper specialization as pigeonholing, right? And I could do that. I could very well do that. I could have sat there and been anger react guy about DRM things. But I am not that kind of guy all the time. You know, I do have hope for the future, and I do feel the indie game space and Steam and stuff is where I'm at right now. And as far as my taste is concerned, there are so many indie devs putting out good shit that's just as obscure. I put out a video on one of my favorite games last year, 24 Killers, and I don't know how to force people to watch that video and figure out why it's so good, or Moon Remix RPG, or Onion Games. I want people to go and play the good shit, but they're so mentally attached to comfort, right? They want a safe bet. They want Final Fantasy Rebirth or whatever. And it's hard to shake that person awake and say, hey, you want to play the New Blood stuff. The New Blood stuff is doing shit you've never seen before. So if you want a good, like I've put out some solid videos last year. Go watch that 24 Killers video. Go watch my Moon video. Go watch Onion Games, okay? Get into the indie stuff because that's what I'm into at the moment. Indie shit. Vampire Survivors, believe it or not, indie game. Okay. Hikiko's been blessed by Gaben's Light. I don't have my Steam Deck in this room, but I do play my Steam Deck daily. The Steam Deck has saved my life. Really, it has. It's got me, that spark for video games is there. Yeah, Crow Country, is that, or Crow County or Country? Crow Country. Yeah, I played the demo for that, and I enjoyed the demo. I'm going to be playing that game for sure. Yeah, that's totally up my alley. There's a lot of other games I have my eye on. Basically, this whole week on Twitter, indie developers have been posting, here's my indie game, and 3 games that influenced it. And I've been following all those threads. And so a lot of people were inspired by Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which is great. I love that game. I'm probably the lone Silent Hill. I consider myself a Silent Hill fanatic that loves Shattered Memories. Like, maybe there's 2 camps for everything here. But all the pretentious Silent Hill guys, they love to shit on Shattered Memories. Like, they think that's like a big accomplishment. Like, oh, can't believe it was narrative driven and the raw shocks and all this and that. No, Shattered Memories did everything Short Message wanted to do. PT did everything Short Message wanted to do, if I'm being real. I am not going to sell my Wii collection in this lifetime, I don't think. I still love playing the Wii because of Shattered Memories. I play through it at least once a year. I enjoy it a lot. Thanks for the hearts. Thank you. Thank you for the upvotes, the updoots, the hearts, the super chats, the questions. We're about to wrap up here. We'll get a nice round number. Okay, we'll do about another 5 minutes. We'll see. What happened with him? I don't know. With who? I still need to play any Silent Hill game, Nick says. Nick, I would say Shattered Memories is a good spot. If you want something more traditional, play in chronological order, though. Ultimately, I'd recommend chronological order. Shattered Memories is a good... I think Shattered Memories is good, but you do have to play the original to truly appreciate what it's trying to do. Why it's a good... I wouldn't say remake, reimagining is what I would call it. Silent Hill, the Room fans still have it the worst. Yeah. I bought Silent Hill, The Room, and Origins, and Silent Hill 3 launch day, all of them, and I loved all of them back then, and I love them now. I still like hearing other people's opinions on them, for sure. But Silent Hill 4 probably was one of the most influential psychological horror games in terms of, like, the environment is the threat. You know, Silent Hill has also kind of felt the town itself, but the lone room is the threat. And it's very, like, if you like Italian horror, Silent Hill 4 is influenced by the films of Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci the most. So I was tapped into it. I was unironically watching Fulci's films. Like, my buddy Ryan, he had bought all of Lucio Fulci's, because I was a fan of the zombie series, but he bought stuff like The Beyond and Bird with the Crystal Plumage and all that, and then some of Argento stuff like Phenomenon. So I was deep within Italian horror when I played Silent Hill 4 the first time, and it just clicked with me. So, yeah. It's a bit of a spaghetti horror. Spaghetti meets udon horror is what I would call Silent Hill 4. That game is the shit. Absolutely. if I find the motivation, I'd like to do a retrospective on it, but I feel it would just fall flat on its face. Like, everyone's covered Silent Hill the whole series. My short message video, I hit it the same night it came out, so that was the only reason that video got any traction. But y'all know me. I love Silent Hill. Juggernaut. Have you played the obscure point-and-click? I've seen Juggernaut. It's kind of a rare game in North America. If I do see it for sale, I will buy it. I do like to play PlayStation games on the original hardware. Does that sound nuts? Even with all the loading? I'll tell you why. For one, it's on a CRT. It fills the screen. You're committed to it. Like when you're playing a horror game on the PS1, on a CRT, in a dark room with like the glow of the TV and the weird electronic whirring of the CRT, and then the PlayStation itself. I used to play this game called Clock Tower. And Clock Tower, when Scissorman's the antagonist, he has a bit of RNG. Like, you know, once you understand the game, you kind of understand the scripting more. But there was one giveaway that you could tell Scissorman was coming up. You could hear the PlayStation start loading. It would just go, and then so when I was a kid and I heard my PlayStation like loading Scissorman, I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? And that is an experience that really can't be emulated, I feel. Hey, $5 from Smoke Jaguar 986. Wait a second. There are no men kissing on this stream. What the heck? Oh.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
That's for you, buddy. And you're going to get a heart. Blessings from KG and Miles. BFFs. Yeah, if you didn't know, I work with Captain Psychopath on his channel. We got another FK in the coffee. That's popular today. I work with Captain Psychopath where we review Gachamuchi, gay porn without the gay sex on YouTube. YouTube friendly gay porn. So I think it's weird. Like I have this audience from Captain's channel, and Captain has been consistently putting out great reviews. So if you want to watch, my personal favorite that we did was like Cockpit. Cockpit's pretty good. Okay, we're 2 more minutes on the clock here. Get him in here. Are you a fan of the late Kenji Ino and his works? Absolutely, Hermes. Yes, I own D. I own D2. I have Enemy Zero. Hey, while we're at it, I went to Japan again back in last year, around the springtime, and I went to Akihabara, and my goal was to get a lot of Saturn games because Saturn is now easy to hack and easier to emulate. And I got one of those like multi-region carts so I can play all these games. And the first thing I got for 300 yen, and I think I got this from Super Potato. I think there's a Super Potato in Osaka. I think I got this when I was in Osaka, but I got Enemy Zero, and that's lenticular. There's like a little lenticular cover on it. I don't know if that shows up on the stream, but I got this for like 300 yen, which is nothing. That is pennies on the dot. That is like $1.50 in US. I got Enemy Zero. I got Deep Fear because I reviewed. This is a prequel to Extermination, Swery's game. It's a spiritual prequel. Same developers as Extermination. Swery wasn't there yet. Okay, this is pre-Swery Access games. Back when they were called Deep Space. Deep Fear. Okay. I also got a few other Saturn games when I was over there. It's been a rough year. So I do not have the funds to go to Japan this year. I've literally had so many things happen. I don't even want to get into it, but I could not afford to go to Japan this year, but I'm hoping next year to go back, make my pilgrimage, and get more Saturn games. But here's the thing. On my channel about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago now, I put out a video called My Time in Tokyo, about the first time I went to Japan. And when I went to Japan, all the retro game stores were packed to the gills. Literally anything you could think to find, they had it. I showed guys pictures when I was at the retro game stores, and I came home with a literal suitcase. I took all my clothes out and everything, a whole suitcase full of games, and I spent $300 US, and I got over 70 games. It was insane. Okay? And now, since my video, not saying my video had anything to do with it, a lot of retro channels have kind of picked up on that. And so a lot of these like retro gamers are going over, making their pilgrimage to Japan and looting the absolute shit out of the retro game stores. And I saw up on Twitter, there's a problem. Like there's now these barren game stores where they've just been looted by all these collectors now. And the stores just don't have enough stock to stay in business. Like it's getting rough out there. And the thing is, the Japanese economy is not doing the greatest. The US dollar is doing better against it. So when gaijins go over there with their powerful dollar, they can just clean out these fucking stores. The second time I went over to Japan, I went over to Tokyo and Osaka, and I took the Shinseikon, the bullet train between the two. So I spent some more time over there, and it was a bit more barren, but I found I had more success in the smaller stores, in secondhand shops. Like not your bigger stores, like Super Potato, still kind of lit, whatever, but they didn't have the greatest selection or the greatest prices. But when I went kind of outside the main cities and I found like the little shops and the little secondhand stores, things were still fine. So I don't know if that'll be true the next time I go there. All right. So thanks all for watching. Cool stream playlist. Thanks for donating. I'll see you next time, maybe with some new content. Bye-bye.